Huh? What? Am I reading this correctly? No. Am I getting punked? Is it April Fool's? No, it's June 17th. It's not April Fool's Day. This is the last thing I had on my bingo card. Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf, Lynn Dunn. Congratulations. You've managed within the span of 3 years to drive fans away. Not only
the numbers hit the internet, and the entire basketball world stopped breathing. Caitlin Clark isn't just losing the All-Star vote, she is being buried alive by the very people supposed to protect her. On June 17th, the first returns revealed a reality no one was prepared for. The face of the league is currently sitting in 5th place, not 1st, not 2nd, but 5th. This isn't just a snub, it's a total collapse of the hype machine that was supposed to redefine the WNBA. The silence from the front office is deafening, while the fans are walking away in droves, leaving thousands of seats empty in an arena that should be sold out for months.
We get the first return so far this year. Voting opened up late last week, I believe. Caitlin Clark's not first. She's not second. She's not third. She's not fourth. But she's 5th. You guys have managed to turn off so many of her fans, so many of her supporters, that they aren't even going out of their way to vote her as an all-star team captain.
This is a direct indictment on the Indiana Fever front office, and it is personal. Stephanie White, Lynn Dunn, and the rest of the leadership have managed to do the impossible in record time. They have turned off the most loyal fan base in sports history. How do you take a generational talent like Caitlin Clark and make her so toxic to the mainstream that fans don't even want to vote for her as an all-star captain? It is a masterclass in mismanagement. We are watching a franchise drive supporters away at epic proportions, and the damage being done to the brand might be completely irreversible at this point in voting.
Number 2? Number 5? This is an indictment on this front office and franchise. This is an indictment on this front office and franchise with how you guys have turned fans off. We have the 3rd lowest attendance in the Caitlin Clark era in Gainbridge. We have Indiana Fever tickets still available by the thousands.
A'ja Wilson is currently dominating the polls with over 308,000 votes. While Paige Bueckers is sitting comfortably in 2nd place, Caitlin is trailing the leader by a massive gap of 55,000 votes. In any other year, Clark would have cleared this field by 100,000 without breaking a sweat. She was supposed to be the undisputed vote-getter, the player who brought millions of new eyes to the product. Instead, she is lagging behind because the excitement has been sucked out of the room by internal drama and coaching staff decisions that leave fans feeling frustrated and ignored.
1 with 308,000, Paige Bueckers 2, 298, Leah Boston 3. We've to the point 282,000, Brianna Stewart 4, 255,000, and then Caitlin Clark 253,000, 55,000 votes behind A'ja Wilson. 45 right? 45,000 votes behind Paige Bueckers. I had a brain fart, excuse me.
The attendance figures tell an even darker story than the voting numbers. We are currently seeing the 3rd lowest attendance of the Caitlin Clark era at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. On June 16th, a game that should have been a marquee event had over 2,000 tickets left unsold. That is thousands of dollars left on the table and thousands of empty seats staring back at the players. This isn't just a minor dip, it's a flashing red light for the organization. People aren't just staying home from the polls. They are literally staying away from the building because the atmosphere has become so negative behind Paige Beckers.
Behind Paige Beckers. I had a brain fart, excuse me. How is this possible? How is this possible that you guys have managed to drive this many people away? You know what this would have looked like back in 24, 25, even 25? Killing 500,000 easy. Clearing the field by 100,000. Clearing the field by 100,000. And now somehow we're in 5th place. This is insanity.
Stephanie White and the management team are being blamed for creating an environment where fans feel unwelcome. The strategy seems to be focused on trying to make every other player feel important, while the biggest star in the world is pushed to the side. This equalizer approach is backfiring spectacularly. You don't market a once-in-a-lifetime athlete by trying to hide her impact. The fans see through the media hit pieces and the lack of protection on the court. They are voting with their wallets and their remote controls, and right now, they are choosing to tune out entirely.
This isn't too surprising. Vote Asia Today. Guess CC's not the face of the league. Jeez. And look at this. You got Paige and Ezzy just dominating in terms of making the push. Wow. The clan is washed. Yep. Wow. AZFC lock in.
Look at the secondary ticket market. If you want to see the real value of the product right now, you can get into these games for as low as $14 or $29 for a night out on the town to see a supposed superstar. Those are basement-level prices. The Caitlin Clark effect was promised to turn every game into a Super Bowl-level event, but the mismanagement by the front office has turned it into a clearance sale. When standard and verified resale tickets are sitting there in the thousands, you know the connection between the team and the community has been severed by poor leadership building.
But there were 15,017 tickets sold. This is a direct result of Stephanie, Amber, Lynn, Kelly. The WNBA drama, the media hit pieces, time and time again. Just turning fans off, not knowing how to market your players properly. Not utilizing your stars correctly. Trying to make everybody else feel important while leaving the biggest star off to the wayside. And then look at this.
The narrative being pushed by the media hasn't helped the situation at all. We have seen constant hit pieces and a refusal to acknowledge the unique pressure Caitlin is under. Instead of the organization standing up and shielding their investment, they have allowed the drama to fester. This has created a voter fatigue before the season is even halfway over. Fans are tired of the constant bickering and the perceived lack of support from the coaching staff. If you don't treat your star like a star, the public eventually stops treating them like one too, and that is exactly what we are seeing.
Tons of seats available. $14 you can get in there. $14. You go to standard only. Still a good amount available. $29 gets you in the door. A night out on the town. Wow. This is pretty insane. I want you guys to let me know, why do you think that these numbers are like this?
The gap between Caitlin and first place is over 60,000 votes, and that is a mountain to climb. Even with double voting days approaching, the initial returns are an embarrassment for the Indiana franchise. They had the golden ticket, and they are currently fumbling it into the trash. The fact that Aaliyah Boston is sitting in third place while the primary draw is in fifth shows a complete disconnect in how the team is being perceived. It feels like the organization is trying to force a narrative that the fans simply aren't buying, and the result is a total lack of enthusiasm at the ballot box. Why are these numbers like this? It's the question everyone is asking, but the front office refuses to answer. It's because the fans are being aggravated at every turn. From the way the games are coached to the way the players are utilized, there is a sense of deep dissatisfaction. When you have people like Amber Cox and Kelly Krossoff making decisions that seem to alienate the core supporters, you get results like this. It's an indictment of a culture that hasn't figured out how to handle greatness. They are driving people away faster than they can replace them with new marketing campaigns. The social media reaction has been brutal. People are calling the fan base washed and claiming that Caitlyn is no longer the face of the league. While that might be an exaggeration, the data supports the idea that the momentum has shifted. If you can't win the fan vote, you lose the narrative, and if you lose the narrative, you lose the sponsors and the TV ratings. This front office is playing a dangerous game with the future of the franchise. They are letting a generational opportunity slip through their fingers because they can't get out of their own way and just let the star shine. Even rivals like Angel Reese are feeling the impact of this weird season, with her sitting at 7th in the voting, but the focus remains on the Indiana disaster because the expectations were so much higher. The Bethany White experience, as some are calling it, has been a roller coaster of frustration. Fans expected a high-octane, record-breaking season, but instead they are getting a masterclass in how to stall a career. The media drama and the hit pieces are the direct result of an organization that doesn't know how to control its own story, and the fans are the ones paying the price. There were only 7 tickets sold for a recent game, and even fewer people actually showed up to sit in those seats. When you see that many empty chairs in an arena that was supposed to be the hottest ticket in town, you have to wonder what the long-term plan is. Is the goal to just survive the season, or is it to build a dynasty? Right now, it looks like survival is the only thing on the menu. The excitement that fueled the early part of the year has evaporated, replaced by a sense of dread every time the All-Star returns are posted for the world to see and mock. The front office's failure to market their players properly is perhaps the biggest sin of all. They have tried to make the team about everyone except the person everyone came to see. It's a bizarre strategy that has never worked in the history of professional sports. You don't see the Bulls trying to hide Michael Jordan, or the Lakers trying to downplay LeBron James. Yet in Indiana, there seems to be a concerted effort to minimize the Caitlyn factor. The result is a fan base that feels disconnected and unmotivated to participate in the league's biggest popularity contest. That we are seeing a direct result of the media hit pieces and the WNBA drama that has plagued the first few months of the season. Fans are being turned off by the constant negativity. Instead of a celebration of basketball, it feels like a political battlefield every time Caitlyn steps on the court. The front office has done nothing to change this perception. They have sat back and watched as their star is targeted both on and off the court. And now they are wondering why the voting numbers are so low. It's a self-inflicted wound that is bleeding the franchise dry of its most valuable resource. The attendance at the Atlanta Dream game was another wake-up call. Tickets were available for next to nothing, and there were still seats to be had. This was supposed to be the CC Road show that sold out every arena in the country. While some venues are still doing well, the cracks are starting to show. If the home fans in Indiana aren't showing up, why should fans in other cities care? The energy is contagious, and right now, the energy coming out of Indiana is purely toxic. The management needs to take a long look in the mirror before the entire season is lost to apathy. It's insane to think that we are even having this conversation. A few months ago, the idea that Caitlyn Clark wouldn't be leading the All-Star vote by a landslide was laughable. It was a given. But the genius front office has managed to ruin the vibe so thoroughly that we are looking at a fifth-place finish. This is what happens when you prioritize internal politics over the fans. You lose the people who make the league possible. Stephanie White and Lynn Dunn are presiding over a collapse that will be studied for years as a prime example of how to ruin a sure thing. The gap between the top players is widening, and the narrative is shifting toward the veterans. While A'ja Wilson deserves every bit of credit she gets, the lack of support for the rookie class is a sign of a league in turmoil. The fans who came for Caitlin are being driven away by the way she is being treated and marketed. They don't feel like they are part of a community, they feel like they are being lectured to. This disconnect is the primary reason the voting numbers are so abysmal compared to the sky-high expectations we all had back in April and May. Is the front office using bots to manipulate things? Or are fans that checked out? It's a question being whispered in the dark corners of the internet. While there's no proof of foul play, the numbers are so shocking that people are looking for any explanation other than the obvious one that the organization has failed. They have failed to protect their star, failed to market the team, and failed to keep the fans engaged. When you drive people away at this scale, you don't get to act surprised when the returns come back, and your star player is middle of the pack. The financial implications of this are staggering. Thousands of unsold tickets at every home game add up to a massive loss in revenue. The WNBA was looking at this season as a massive payday, but the Indiana Fever are leaving millions on the table. This is money that could have been used to grow the game and improve facilities. Instead, it's vanishing because the leadership can't figure out how to work with a superstar. It's a business failure as much as it is a sports failure, and the owners should be demanding answers from Stephanie White and her team. Right now, we are witnessing an indictment of a franchise that thought they were bigger than the game. They thought they could dictate how the fans should feel and who they should support. But the fans have the ultimate power, and they are using it by staying away. They are not voting. They are not buying tickets. And they are not engaging with the content. The Caitlin Clark era is at risk of being defined by empty seats and low vote counts rather than championships and records. It is a tragedy that was entirely preventable if the leadership had just listened to the people. The next few weeks will be crucial. If the double voting days don't see a massive surge for Caitlin, the narrative will be set in stone. She will be seen as a player who couldn't sustain the hype. Even though the failure lies squarely with the organization, the pressure is on the front office to fix this, but they seem more interested in defending their decisions than in making changes. Driving away fans is easy. Getting them back is the hardest thing in sports. Right now, it looks like they are content to let the ship sink while they argue about who should be steering. This is the last thing I expected to see in 2024. I never in a million years thought I would be reporting on Caitlin Clark being in 5th place for an all-star vote. It feels like a bad dream, but the numbers don't lie. The attendance doesn't lie. The $14 tickets don't lie. The Indiana Fever are in a freefall, and the parachute is currently being held by people who don't seem to know how to pull the cord. It's a heartbreaking situation for the fans who just wanted to see great basketball and a star who was allowed to be a star without the constant interference. The lesson here is simple: respect your fans and protect your stars. If you fail to do either, you lose everything. The Indiana front office has managed to fail at both in a single season. As the All-Star break approaches, the league needs to look closely at what is happening in Indianapolis. This isn't just a local problem, it's a threat to the growth of the entire WNBA. If the biggest draw in the world can't fill an arena or win a fan vote because of management issues, then no one is safe. The fans have spoken, and right now, they are saying goodbye.